Wendy here with Jazzydoodledesigns, and today we are off to Africa. We're going to be coloring this page with the little crocodile, so grab your Polychromos, grab your passport, buckle up folks, and let's go. Hello my friends and welcome back. I want to say a big thank you to you guys for hanging in there with me. I apologize for taking so long to get back to our beloved Africa book, but to make it up for you, keep a hold of these Polychromos pencils and the same colors because we're going to be using them on the page with the dragonfly right beside it. So as soon as I'm done with this voiceover, I am going to start coloring the page next to it to try and make up for some lost time. So, how's everyone's summer? Is it starting to get hot for you? It is starting to get crazy hot here. I hate it so much. Tomorrow's supposed to be 102. 102. Just way too hot, if you ask me. But then again, nobody really asked me now, did you? We could just never be happy, right? We're either, it's too cold, it's too hot, it's too humid, it's too dry. I don't know. I like it when it's 60 to 80 degrees out and very little humidity. I am not a humidity girl. I've grown up most of my life where it's dry, and so that's what I'm used to. And when I go to places, like last year I went to Florida, and I was like, I don't even know how y'all do it. I just felt like I was always wet, just damp all the time. You walk outside and you just immediately start to sweat, and I don't know. Anyway, you didn't come here for me to whine, did ya? No, you didn't. All right, guys. Well, so what I'm doing here is I am just going to use my Polychromos. I'm going to go dark to light with the blues, just a nice little gradient. And initially I thought I was going to use like my aquas and teals to do the water. And when it came time for that, I just realized that I felt like it would be a more cohesive palette if I use the same blues and just use more of the lighter blue. You know, the one thing I will caution you about is I did use a blender pencil over everything, and I blended out some of the tooth of the paper and the white that was showing. But when I did it, when I was going through the water, I was impatient. I know. You guys, put your shoes back on. I know I just shocked you right out of your boots, but put them back on. But yeah, I was a little impatient, and when I went over the green for like that alligator's or the crocodile's arm, it kind of pulled that green into the water, and it makes my page look a little dirty and dingy. So be real careful on that. So I just want to warn you of my mistakes so that you don't do them. Because if you look at my page up at the top, the blue is very clean, but in the lighter shades of the water, the blue is really murky because I was impatient. But other than that, I do feel like I like how this page turned out. So I thought we would chat a little today about crocodiles because these are Nile crocodiles. This is the most common, I think. There are no alligators in Africa. I looked that up. So we're going to talk a little bit about crocodiles and a little bit about the fan palm that we see here, and then we'll see how much time we have. Okay, so if I see something on screen that I think I should point out to you, I will. But overall, I think it's a pretty straightforward page. Okay, so there are different ways to tell the difference between crocodiles and alligators. Number one, crocodiles are larger than alligators. They also have a V-shaped snout instead of a U-shaped snout. And crocodiles are olive green or light brown with a mottled pattern, and alligators are dark gray or black with a cream underside. And now I found 62 interesting facts about crocodiles. So let's see if we find them interesting as well. So crocodiles are semi-aquatic. They're found in Africa, Asia, Australia, South America, and North America. They live in wetland areas such as lakes and freshwater rivers. They can also live in saltwater, often creating homes in lagoons, estuaries, mangrove swamps, but most prefer freshwater. It says keep your eyes peeled because they can be aggressive. How many species of crocodiles are known? Well, there are 23 species of crocodiles in the world, and their lifespan varies between 35 and 75 depending on the species. The smallest is a dwarf crocodile, which can grow to be 4 feet 9 inches long and weigh between 40 and 71 pounds. The saltwater crocodile is the largest and can grow up to 23 feet and weigh 2,200 to 2,600 pounds. Oh my word, 23 feet? Are you kidding me right now? That's like as long as your house, right? Like an average size house or something, right? Is that right? Yeah, that's crazy. Okay. It says, aside from DNA, you can look at their anatomy to see what type of species they are, their snout proportion, bony dorsal structures, and scale arrangement. Now, we're not doing any of that. We have coloring to do. We can't be bothered with those kind of things. We will just say, crocodile, yeah, I'm out of here. At least that's what I'm going to do. So to estimate their age, counting rings on their bones, I guess there's, what is it called? A lamellar growth ring appears on crocodile bones each year. So most species live 30 to 40 years. The largest one can average 60 to 70 years, with a few individuals living over a century. Okay, so these are not what you want to get for a pet. They will outlive you. Crocodiles are part of the reptile family, and they're cold-blooded with thick, scaly skin rather than fur or feathers. So what do you eat, they ask. They eat fish, turtles, birds, and other mammals, but they are considered an apex predator. They will eat domestic dogs, cattle, possums, sharks, and even insects. Now, they are classified generally as carnivores and don't eat a combination of plant and animals like omnivores, so they're meat only. They existed during the Cretaceous period, which means that they coexisted with dinosaurs. So maybe they're related. Oh, read number 9, Wendy. They're closely related to birds and dinosaurs. The crocodile lived among the dinosaurs, and the birds are avian dinosaurs. Crocodiles produce tears. Have you ever heard the expression crocodile tears? The term refers to someone fake crying to get attention or to get out of trouble. What you may not know is that crocodiles really do produce tears. They swallow too much air when they eat, which affects the lacrimal gland and produces tears. But they aren't crying because they're sad. Sounds to me like they're crying because they're happy. Why do crocodiles eat stones sometimes? Well, it doesn't seem to make sense, but their stomachs are highly acidic, helping them to digest hooves, bones, and other byproducts. And swallowing stones aids in digestion. Rocks in the crocodile's stomach helps crush and grate the food. Now that is an interesting fact. So they actually set out to eat stones to help them grind their food, so to speak, in their tummies. It is noteworthy that crocodiles... Wendy, can you talk? Nope. It's noteworthy that crocodiles can secrete stomach acid 10 times faster than any other animal. Well, it's because they're eating big things. So do they hibernate? Crocodiles are cold-blooded and prefer to live in tropical areas close to wetlands. They cannot generate heat on their own and go into long periods of sleep similar to hibernation called estivation. I am sorry for the dogs next door. They feel the need to weigh in on the crocodile. Crocodiles wake up when the weather starts to warm up and live their lives until it gets cold again. So that's good to know. It may look petrifying, but they are playful. Crocodiles have fun whenever they can. Any object can be a toy: floating debris, noisy ceramics, or wooden balls. They may engage in locomotive play like surfing ocean waves, sliding down slopes, or riding water currents. Playing can also be a social activity, with babies piggybacking on their friends and males giving free rides to their life mate. I didn't know that either. Does anyone now feel the urge to get on the YouTubes and Google crocodiles playing? Okay, I'm not alone. Thanks for making me feel better. Beware of clever crocodiles. These giant geniuses can use tools to fool prey, such as holding twigs with their snout to attract nest-building birds. They can hide for hours underwater and lunge at the right time. Wow, that's crazy. There are also tree climbing crocodiles. Crocs aren't as agile as monkeys, yet they can climb trees regularly. Moving up lets them bask in the sun and monitor their surroundings. Small juveniles can reach 30 feet, while adults can rise to 6 feet. This is a fascinating fact about crocodiles. I would agree. By the way, this is called thefactfile.org, Facts About Crocodiles. Okay, the crocodile bird. The bravest bird in the world? Probably the Egyptian plover, a creature noted for flying into crocodile mouths. What seemed like a suicide mission is a cleaning symbiosis in action. The bird feeds on meat between the teeth, and the grateful Nile crocodile enjoys the work of his little dentist. I beg your pardon, I think it would be a dental hygienist. Crocodiles were once at the top of the food chain. It hasn't always been that way. During the Mesozoic period, around 100 million... Okay, let's start that over. Today, humans are at the top of the food chain. It hasn't always been this way. Crocodiles were at the top of the food chain during the Mesozoic era, around 100 million years ago. Over the last million years, humans have taken over and we're at the top of the food chain, but this won't stop a crocodile from preying on you if you get too close. Crocodiles have a strong senses and excellent nighttime vision. Most are nocturnal, meaning they sleep during the day and remain awake at night. They have a third eyelid. It says there's a membrane that's transparent that keeps out the dirt and water. It's like natural goggles, helping them keep their eyes peeled. That protects them underwater. They're highly receptive to vibrations, helping capture the prey in the water. They also have excellent vision on land, particularly at night, and they use their vision and vibrations when hunting prey on land. So how do they hunt, you ask? They ambush their prey in the water. They wait in the water for their prey to drink or cool off, and they strike. They then drag their prey to the water and drown them, often eating them whole. If the prey puts up a fight, the crocodile will thrash their prey or use a death roll to fatally injure the prey so it can be eaten quickly. Now, I have heard in the event that you're taken captive by a crocodile, go with the roll because it disorients them. They're used to animals fighting it. Now, I don't know how that works because if you go with the roll, that means you're going underwater. So I'm not sure if that's good advice or not, but that's what they say. Scales cover most of a crocodile's body. They have smooth bellies with scales protecting them when they slide on land. Meanwhile, they have rugged backs covered in thick, scaly armor that shield them from attacks. The colors and patterns differ from each species, often helping them blend in with their environment. Now, it was also noted that if you're taken captive, you want to fight back and you want to punch and hit and throw things at their eyes and their nose because those are more sensitive. Okay, long and strong, their tails never fail. They propel crocodiles forward when swimming, improve balance when moving on land. During courtship, males may use these to gain attention. During attacks, they can flick their tail to knock out their targets. So how do they get rid of the salt from their bodies, you might ask? I know that was your next question. You were just sitting there chomping at the bit to ask me. Excessive salt may be fatal, but saltwater crocodiles can shrug it off. Their secret? They have salt glands. These organs maintain electrolyte balance by excreting excess salt from the blood. You'll also find these in birds, turtles, and other reptiles. Who knew? The infant mortality rate is actually very high. Sadly, many crocodiles don't live past infancy. According to some sources, 99% of crocodiles are eaten in their first year of life. When predators such as other crocodiles, hyenas, lizards, and fish spot an infant crocodile, they often eat them, which could be why the crocodile population is relatively small. Well, thank goodness. I mean, we wouldn't want that predator to become too overpopulated. Crocodiles can walk slower than they can swim. Many people believe crocodiles are very fast and cannot be outrun, but this is a myth. Crocodiles can belly run up to 11 miles an hour, and the average human 8 to 9 miles an hour. But when your adrenaline starts pumping, you should be able to outrun a crocodile, mainly because they tire easily. Most crocodiles prefer the water and often come ashore only to bask in the sun and for the females to lay eggs. Crocodiles can communicate with one another in nature. Young crocodiles grunt and squeak, and adults hiss, growl, and roar at each other. Some species make other sounds such as gunshot sounds, engine noise, and even people mimicking crocodiles. They often communicate when threatened or a mother crocodile's babies are in danger. They also make sounds to lure their prey. Okay, so who would win in a fight between alligators and crocodiles? Crocodiles don't come face to face with alligators in most areas of the world except South Florida. Have you ever wondered which animal would win in a fight? The crocodile would win. Crocodiles are larger than alligators and have a stronger bite. They aren't as fast in the water or out of the water as alligators, but they're more aggressive. Alligators often attack only when threatened and flee when faced with uncertainty. Crocodiles are highly territorial and will attack without being provoked. These traits will help a crocodile win in a fight. Are crocodiles a bigger threat to humans than alligators? Although they are both deadly to humans, you should definitely worry more about crocodiles. If an alligator knows there's a human nearby, it will usually flee. Also, alligators kill around one person in the United States every year. Crocodiles are far more aggressive and won't flee. There are many non-fatal crocodile attacks each year, and crocodiles kill around 1,000 people in Africa alone every year. Fortunately for us, there's a small crocodile population in the United States. I think they mean there's only a small crocodile population in the States. Crocodiles have very powerful jaws. The muscles in the jaw are weak and sensitive to the touch, but have one of the strongest bites in all the animals in the animal kingdom. Saltwater crocodiles are the largest species, and their bite is 3 times stronger than a lion's or a tiger's. Crocodiles can clamp their jaws shut in 50 milliseconds, which is 6 times faster than we can blink. Wow. Now that's fast. That is crazy fast. And they can open their jaws underwater. So thanks to a valve in the back of their throat, when a crocodile opens its mouth underwater, the valve will close, allowing them to open their mouths without swallowing water. A crocodile's jaw cannot move sideways, however, making it impossible for them to grind their food in a chewing motion. Therefore, they swallow their food whole and have acidic stomachs to break down the food and swallow stones to help speed up the process. Crocodile's brain is relatively small, but they aren't dumb. Their brain is capable of learning more than any other reptile in the animal kingdom. A study found that the brain of a Nile crocodile grows fast in the first few years, and it slows down, but it never stops. It's around 8.5 centimeters cubed for a large adult, enclosed in a bony brain case. Like humans, they have a cerebral cortex responsible for cognition, memory, consciousness, thoughts, and perception. Farm-friendly animals? Yes, they are. Philippine crocodiles protect rice fields by preying on pests like rats and snails. They keep the fish population healthy by eating the weak. However, collectors and predators are threatening their population. Conservationists are paying locals to guard nests and raise hatchlings to increase their chance of survival. Crocodiles can hold their breath underwater, but aren't considered marine creatures. They can hold their breath underwater for well over an hour, and Cambridge researchers believe they know why. They think there's a tiny fragment of hemoglobin that helps them breathe underwater, which is a protein that carries oxygen from the lungs to the rest of the body. We already mentioned that crocodiles have excellent night vision, which helps them hunt at night, along with their ability to sense vibrations. But they also have an incredible sense of smell and hearing, which has given them an evolutionary advantage and makes them very successful predators. A baby crocodile's gender isn't set in stone when they're created. Female crocodiles lay 60 eggs at a time, and the temperature of the nest determines the gender. The babies will be female if the nest is less than 89.6 degrees Fahrenheit. If it's warmer than 91 degrees Fahrenheit, the babies will be male. Okay, when we bite down, our jaws produce 100 to 200 pounds of pressure per square inch. When a crocodile bites down, its jaw, the Nile crocodile, can produce up to 5,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. When tested, the saltwater crocodiles were able to exert a bite force of 3,700 pounds per square inch. So I definitely don't want to be bitten by a crocodile. Long was the crocodile. Long was a saltwater crocodile and the largest ever in captivity. It was captured by a National Geographic team in the Philippines in November 2011 and was 20.2 feet long and weighed 2,370 pounds. Sadly, Lo Long died from cardiac arrest and pneumonia on February 10th, 2013. Crocodiles have the most sophisticated hearts in the animal kingdom. The heart can change the destination of the blood that flows through it, depending on where it's needed the most. No other animal heart functions this way. When the crocodile is submerged, I cannot talk, y'all. I apologize. When the crocodile is submerged, the heart decides where the oxygenated blood needs to be sent. Since when submerged, the lungs have no fresh supply of oxygen, the heart also restricts the flow of deoxygenated blood back to the lungs and instead sends it directly to less important areas. That's kind of crazy to think about that, isn't it? Like, nature's crazy. When a mother crocodile lays eggs, she often hides them in the sand to keep them safe. When the eggs are ready to hatch, they make noises in the egg that the mother can hear. When the mother hears their voices, she'll dig up the eggs and take the hatchlings to the water in her mouth. Tiny, thin, and shy, baby crocodiles emerge from eggs weighing 2 ounces and measuring 8 to 12 inches. They eat insects and other small prey, hunting at night to avoid predators and spending the day in their mother's mouth. Many people know dogs don't sweat and pant when they're hot. Crocodiles can't sweat either and open their mouths when they're hot, which is known as mouth gaping and is very similar to panting. If you see a crocodile with its mouth wide open, don't panic. It's likely sleeping and keeps its mouth open to release the heat. Crocodiles have between 60 and 110 teeth, including 24 very sharp teeth that aren't used for chewing. Crocodiles often lose teeth when they eat, and there's always another tooth ready to replace it. They can replace all of their teeth up to 50 times throughout their lives. Wouldn't it be great if humans could also regenerate teeth this way? And then it shows us a picture of the teeth. You can easily tell the difference between an alligator and a crocodile when their mouths are closed. Alligators have a slight depression in the upper jaw, and you cannot see their teeth when their mouths are closed. Crocodiles don't have this depression, and the upper and lower jaw are the same width, and you can see their teeth even when their mouths are closed. Wow. If you zoom in, you'll see black spots around the crocodile's mouth. Those dome pressure receptors monitor water disturbance, helping them to hunt in total darkness. A single drop of water, they feel the waves scatter. A juicy fish, they know where it is. It's this fact on your list of the top 10 facts about crocodiles. Is it? They're asking, is that it? That is pretty crazy. And that is why you don't go swimming where there's crocodiles. Ever. Ever. Their ancestors were much bigger. Crocodiles have been walking the earth for 20 million years, but their prehistoric ancestors were much bigger than they are today. Based on fossil evidence, prehistoric crocodiles grew to be 40 feet long, weighing 17,600 pounds. Although modern crocodiles are much smaller, they look very familiar to their prehistoric ancestors. Oh, apologies. Is it in the afternoon? Yes. Should I go get me some coffee? Also, yes. Am I out of cold brew? Yes. Oh, is this more information than you care about? Also, yes. Crocodiles can go far from home without getting lost. They have a homing instinct. The 3 rogue saltwater crocodiles were taken from their home by helicopter and relocated 249 miles away. Trackers were placed on the crocodiles, and based on the tracking data, they returned to their original location 3 weeks later. Sorry for the interruption, but that was my son, and so we spent a few minutes texting. Love that so much. Okay, so back to our crocodiles. The large crocodiles can go over a year without food. They have an extremely efficient metabolism and store and use everything they consume. They can go over a year without eating in extreme situations where there's no food to be found. When they've gone without food for a while, their bodies can shut down, allowing them to live off their own tissue for long periods of time to keep them alive. The oldest crocodile was a freshwater crocodile named Mr. Freshie. Okay, I'm here for it, Mr. Freshie, and lived in Australia Zoo. He was shot twice in the tail and once in the left eye, leaving him blind and severely injured. Despite everything he had been through, Mr. Freshie lived to be 140 and is the oldest known crocodile in captivity. Under the Endangered Species Act, it is illegal to hunt crocodiles for their skin, and in most parts of the world. Sorry about that. It's illegal to bring products into the U.S. made from skins of crocodiles, alligators, and related reptiles called caimans. Crocodiles can swim very fast. They use their powerful tail to propel themselves in the water and use their webbed feet to steer. They don't use their webbed feet to help them propel through the water, but their webbed feet allow them to make sudden moves and fast turns. The average crocodile can swim up to 22 miles per hour. That's pretty dang fast, y'all. Like, he could be legal in a residential area. A long time ago, people believed that crocodiles ate their babies because they were often spotted with hatchlings in their mouth. The truth is, mothers never eat their babies and put the hatchlings in their mouths to take them to water. Although a mother crocodile won't eat her babies, other crocodiles will. This is why mothers don't let their babies go off to be cowboys. No, wait. They don't let their babies go off on their own until they're at least a year old. Crocodiles aren't bulletproof. They have a very thick skin, and some people believe it's bulletproof, and this is actually a myth, and a crocodile can die from a gunshot. Some crocodiles feed on large animals. Most crocodiles feed on fish and smaller animals. However, Nile crocodiles and saltwater crocodiles prey on large animals. They're capable of preying upon larger animals such as big cats, sharks, hippos, and small elephants. Now, that being said, I did read an article that said that one-on-one hippos versus a crocodile, the hippo would win. So who can say? They sleep with one eye open. Crocodiles often sleep with both eyes closed, but they can sleep with one eye open. Most animals cannot do this, and just a few reptiles, birds, and dolphins have this ability. Y'all, I am so sorry for the yawns. I hope I'm not making you yawn. I think I'm going to have to go get some caffeine. They'll sleep with one eye open if they feel there could be danger nearby, but prefer sleeping with both eyes closed. This, among other crocodile facts, could be the one that you could share with your family and friends. Well, I'm sharing all of these with my family and friends. Crocodiles are aggressive by nature and are even more aggressive during mating seasons. They often mate during monsoons and are more dangerous to humans and their prey. Crocodile courtship illustrates reptile romance. They rub snouts, blow bubbles, and stroke each other's backs. Pairs that hit it off move to the water, mating several times over a few days to ensure fertilization. However, the extended honeymoon is no guarantee of exclusivity. We got little hussies. Sorry, that was naughty. We can hold crocodiles' mouths shut with our hands, which sounds strange because they have one of the most powerful bites in the animal kingdom. But the muscles that allow crocodiles to open their mouths are very weak, and the muscles that closes their mouth are very powerful. So, while you could hold a crocodile's mouth closed, if you slip, you might have some trouble. When a mother lays her eggs, she keeps them hidden and close by. When the eggs hatch, the mother doesn't abandon them. She will stay with her babies for at least the first year of their lives to teach them to hunt and care for themselves in the water. If you see a crocodile in the water, you aren't safe. This is because this creature can shoot from the water at incredible speeds. They use their hind legs to give them a quick thrust, and their muscular tails take over to help get them out of the water. They can jump out of the water at a speed of 12 meters per second. That's 36 feet per second, allowing them to attack quickly, so it's best to get away as soon as possible. Crocs are gracious hosts. They share food and basking spots with others, except for the saltwater crocodiles. Mature males mark and defend their territory, driving off rivals from their female companions. It's a bloody war for life and love for the salties. People versus crocodiles. Humans and crocodiles don't mix. Tension arrives when settlements get too close to reptilian territory. Sensing threats, the creatures may attack people to scare them off. Clashes can be deadly, and communities can retaliate through hunting. Crocodiles are in danger. Hunters sell their leather, developers destroy their natural habitat, and settlers cull them out of fear. But it's not all bleak, as some species are in recovery thanks to government protection and community education. Now that we have listed the crocodile facts, you can further read facts about the Nile and saltwater crocodile. Okay, let's learn about our Nile crocodile specifically. The maximum size of the Nile crocodile that live in the Nile Basin, the sub-Saharan Africa, and Madagascar weighs 1,650 pounds and stretches 20 feet. You can see them hunting in rivers, mangroves, and freshwater marshes. They are either gray or brown and develop a dark bronze shade as they grow older. You will see green eyes up close. There are also faded black spots and stripes along their back. Meanwhile, their bellies turn from yellow-green to a dingy off-yellow over time. When food is abundant, predators avoid stress and happily hunt in their territories. However, when food is scarce, lions and Nile crocodiles may fight over a carcass. They engage in a literal tug-of-war with equal chances of success. Intimidation can help win the loot and avoid bloodshed. Nile crocodiles don't mind having company. They will share resources like basking spots, carcasses, and school of fish. However, they need to follow a strict social hierarchy. The size determines rank, so large males tend to get the first crack on food. Anyone who breaks the rules endures violent punishment. Everything looks tasty to the Nile crocodile. It loves eating fish but won't say no to birds, porcupines, and other small animals near the water. Adults are powerful enough to take down large mammals like zebras, hippos, wildebeest, and water buffaloes. Even dead animals are on their radar. Despite their fearsome reputation, they are generally calm and inert. They love to bask in the sun from morning to afternoon, barely moving an inch. Their jaws remain open and cool down, and perhaps to threaten others to leave them alone. As we talked about before, brave birds may drop by and come close and pick the scraps of meat from the teeth like a dental cleaning service. The ancient Greek historian Herodotus claimed that some birds enter through the mouth and get the leeches tormenting the crocodiles. Okay. Male crocodiles get noisy when they want female attention. They will splash, bellow, grunt, and growl. Sometimes the ladies don't get the hint. In that case, they will make a bigger spectacle. They inhale, submerge their snout, and blow water through their nostrils like a spray fountain. That's interesting. Female crocodiles lay eggs 2 months after mating. They choose a nest site near the water and dig a hole in the soil or sand. The devoted parents guard them for 3 months. They will not even budge, even if you throw stones at them. They know that lizards are nearby waiting for a chance to get their eggs. Females may urinate to keep the soil moist and prevent hardening. In sites with multiple nests, the mothers may decide to take care of their young together. Lions also exhibit this behavior in groups, allowing some females to hunt while others stay back for nursing duties. Young crocs avoid predators by hunting in the dark, usually eating lots of insects on land. In most cases, the Nile crocodile will only dive for a few minutes. If they feel threatened, they may swim underwater for a half an hour to move away undetected. If they stay perfectly still, they can hold their breath for up to 2 hours. Florida is wary about alien invaders. No, not creatures from another planet, but foreign species threatening local wildlife. In the 1980s, the Burmese python bred quickly in the Everglades. In 2016, a DNA test confirmed that they have stray Nile crocodiles, probably brought in by illegal traders. Scientists are closely monitoring this situation. Okay, so let's talk about the saltwater crocodile. It is the king of crocs. The saltwater crocodile is the largest of its kind, with the average male weighing 1,000 pounds and reaching 17 feet. The biggest ones may be more than 2,200 pounds and measure longer than 23 feet. You'll find these from India to Australia, with Aussies affectionately calling them salties. Despite the name, they can inhabit freshwater and brackish regions. What sets them apart is their tendency to swim far out at sea. Athletic? Hardly. Smart? Yes. They float to conserve energy and let the currents move them. Saltwater crocodiles have a lot of food options. They can prey on sea turtles, bony fishes, rays, and small sharks. Near land, they hunt mouse deer, hog deer, macaws, proboscis monkeys, gibbons, wallabies, hares, flying foxes, badgers, and otters. Poisonous toads have fatal toxins. These can take down large animals like freshwater crocodiles. Luckily for saltwater crocs, they are partially immune to the poison. They should be fine for as long as they do not eat an excessive amount of toads. Saltwater crocodiles mate in the wet season, and females lay eggs around 2 months later. Each clutch has about 40 to 60 eggs. They make a warm nest using plant matter and mud on the riverbanks. Young salties sold out with a pale yellow body with black stripes and spots. Once they become adults, they take on a dark green shade with regions of tan and gray. A few may remain pale, while others can develop such dark skin that they almost look black. Saltwater crocodiles are survivors. They almost went extinct due to the hunting frenzy in the 1960s, with their skin fetching high prices. Better law enforcement allowed their population to bounce back, however. Habitat remains a challenge even now. Crocodile nest locations may predict future rainfall volume. Locals assume that the animals would put their eggs in safe spots. Sometimes they get it right, and most eggs survive. At other times, the nests suffer from flooding along with the embryos. In Nile crocodiles, males are generally 30% bigger than females. In saltwater crocodiles, there's a wider gap. Males are 4 to 5 times as large as females, possibly because they need bigger bodies for territorial defense. Put all the hatchlings together and you won't have a clue. Nile and saltwater crocodiles start out at roughly the same size. They both have an average length of about 28 centimeters and a weight of 71 grams. However, saltwater crocs outpace growth by adulthood. The average weight of an adult American man is around 200 pounds. The average weight of a saltwater croc's head, around 200 kilograms or 440 pounds, thanks to the muscle and tendons responsible for its bite. Meanwhile, the longest tooth is 9 centimeters or 3.5 inches long. So that is scary. Unlike Nile crocodiles, saltwater crocodiles want to keep all food and resources. They're highly territorial from day one, with hatchlings fighting their siblings. They don't even tolerate their own kind, with one predictable exception. Adult males don't mind sharing their territory with the females. So please make sure to give some love to this site if you enjoyed it, and I appreciate this site very much. It was very informative. So let's talk about the palm tree. We have a few minutes. This is reasons why palm trees appear in African paintings. Number one, they are the symbol of life. As it sways gracefully in the wind, the palm tree whispers tale of endurance and tenacity, reflecting the unyielding spirit that courses through the veins of African societies. Its roots delve deep into the earth, anchoring it firm amidst the harshest of conditions, mirroring the steadfast resolve of a people accustomed to overcoming adversity. Moreover, the palm tree is not merely a static symbol, it's a dynamic present in the daily lives of many Africans. Its versatile bounty provides sustenance, shelter, and a myriad of resources essential for survival. From the nourishing fruits that sustain hunger to the fibrous leaves woven into intricate crafts, every part of the palm tree serves as a testament to the ingenuity and resourcefulness of its people. Number 2, connection to nature. Palms with their sinuous trunks reaching towards the heavens and their verdant ponds dancing in the breeze, they are not merely fixtures of the African landscape, they're the living testaments to the enduring relationship between humanity and nature. From the lush oasis of the Sahara to the sun-kissed shores of Seychelles, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Palms symbolize not only the beauty of the African landscape, but also the resilience of the human nature, of the human spirit. There is a spiritual significance. In numerous African religion traditions, palm trees hold profound significance, intertwined with the sacred and the spiritual. Revered as symbols of connection between mortals and the divine, they stand as venerable conduits bridging the earthly realm with the ethereal domains inhabited by deities and ancestral spirits. In essence, palm trees in Africa religious context embody a sacred symbiosis between humanity and the divine, offering shelter, guidance, and a tangible link to the spiritual realm that transcends the boundaries of the physical world. They also talk about abundance and prosperity. Within the realm of artistry, the inclusion of palm trees in paintings embodies the internal hope for a life abundant with bounty and fruitful endeavors. They're deeply ingrained in African culture and often associated with specific regions or tribes. Palm branches are used to welcome guests and signify hospitality. They provide protection from the scorching African sun and are often depicted in paintings to symbolize safety, shelter, and refuge. They are known for their ability to withstand strong winds and storms, and so in paintings represent resilience and strength. In some African societies, palm fronds are used in traditional ceremonies and rituals. The palm's ability to bear fruit is often associated with fertility and growth. The ancient belief systems, palm trees are believed to be inhabited by ancestral spirits, so they can signify a connection to wisdom and guidance of past generations. A sign of victory, wisdom and knowledge, cultural continuity, connection to the land, sign of resurrection, beauty and aesthetics, cultural pride, connection to water, sign of endurance, cultural exchange, sign of transformation, connection to the divine feminine, signs of hope, and a celebration of nature's beauty. They also produce palm oil, which is a huge, what's the word? Resource for Africa. Palm oil is made from the fruit of oil palm trees. You harvest the fresh fruit bunches, separating the fruitlets and then extracting the oil through pressing or other methods. The extracted oil is then processed further to produce different types of palm oil products, which are in a lot of things. Now, the big reason we boycott palm oil is because they have begun deforestation in order to produce it, which is harmful to other animals. Okay, so let's talk about this picture in general that I'm coloring. Now here, I wanted to bring in a lot of those colors that I used in the, let's call it a temple. I wanted to bring those into the flowers and such. And the way that you do that is you don't use all the colors. So if you look at the temple, it was essentially that what was it, burnt sienna, the dark brown, and then our highlights are in that yellow ochre, right? The color I'm using now. But by doing the flowers completely in the yellow ochre, we're able to make the flowers look yellow and the building look brown, even though we've used essentially the same colors. And then I pulled in that reddish color that I was using. I don't have the colors in front of me. Apologies. But I used that in order to create more of a red one and just use that yellow as a highlight. And that gave us a little diversity in our flowers, and yet it still feels very cohesive. So I would challenge you to do this when working in your own paintings. If you look, the crocodiles were done in the greens, and then I used that yellow ochre to do the little nibs, right, on his back. And by doing that, you'll see that those are the same colors that I used in the palm tree. And yet by using more of the lighter colors and less of the darker colors, it looks different, right? Same with these flowers. I was able to do 2 yellow flowers and 1 red flower, and yet I used the exact same colors. I just used more of one and less of the other. And then I tied it all together by using the same colors in those little droplets. I'm assuming those are the fruitlets that they talk about for the palm things. Now here I decided I wanted to pull in a brighter yellow. I could have used that yellow ochre. However, I wanted it somewhat brighter. Now, I didn't go with something like a lemon yellow because I want it to feel cohesive to this. And by using this yellow in the fish, it ties back the lower part of the picture to the upper part. This is exactly what I did with all the colors in here. The blues are used, same blues, only I used a lot more of the light blue in the bottom and a lot more of the darker blue on the top. But it feels unique and yet it feels very cohesive. So that's all I'm doing here. Am I coloring off camera? Yes, apologies. Luckily, I pull my head out of my bum and adjust it for you guys. Now, I thought I would bring in a little bit more of the pure red. These aren't my favorite fish in the world. They look a little Where's Waldo, but I don't know. You know, it probably would have looked a little better if the fish were yellow and orange or red and orange instead of instead of going with the the stark contrast between the red and the yellow. But I am going to finish up here. I did do some of the white. You know how I put white highlights? I did do some of that on camera. Unfortunately, I actually deleted or didn't film, one of the two, a few of the white dots that I put on these left flowers here. So apologies for that. So I did mark it in the video. You may want to pause the video and just take a look at where the white marks are. Nothing extravagant. It was just a few dots on the flowers. But overall, I like how this page turned out. Let me know in the comments if you did. So I thought I'd end this video on a little funny. The phone rang. I didn't know if it was for the dog, so I answered it. Hello? Mrs. Russell? No. Usually only telemarketers called and asked for Mrs. Russell. My name is Farmer. Is this the residence of Tim Russell? Tim Russell is my dog. I spoke the truth. Our secondary phone line was listed under our Jack Russell's name so we could avoid paying the phone company's unlisted fee. Your dog? The rude person did not identify themselves. Yes. I see. You named your dog Tim Russell. She laughed suspiciously. Yes, I was aggravated. May I speak to him? She must be kidding, I thought. Sure. How was I to know she wasn't a telemarketer? Timber, I yelled, and I laid the phone down on the floor. Timber ran over and loudly snarled the receiver, expecting it to be a treat. I resisted the urge to command him to speak. Leaving the phone on the floor, I continued with my emails. Tim went back to his nap when he discovered the phone was not food. Eventually, a tone emanated from the receiver, so I hung it up. Whoever it was did not call back. Originally, I thought it was a brilliant move to list our secondary phone under the dog's name. I got a kick out of handing it off to him when unwanted callers asked for Tim Russell. Lesson 1 was never underestimate the absurdity of this world. Someday I may learn that others are more practiced at absurdity than I am. Tim Russell is now in hiding. It's not a good idea to let your dog talk on the phone. A month after the last doggy phone chat, he received a bill from a local hospital. I laughed and then shredded the bill. Surely reality would triumph. The next bill came from a collection agency. I wondered if I should respond. I wondered if my dog's credit rating would be ruined if I did not. I wondered if I could get credit cards in his name and run up the bills. With credit, could he get a mortgage for a luxury doghouse? I wonder if the dog's owner is responsible for the dog's credit because the owner is a dog's legal guardian, or if it because the dog was under 18. I was confused. Admittedly, I was amused by the dog getting a bill. Out of politeness and naivete, I called the collection agency to explain that the only hospital my dog had visited was Dr. Dan's vet clinic, and we did not owe him anything. Lesson 2 was never call a collection agency out of politeness. I was in tears of frustration trying to explain that Tim was a dog. How many different ways can one state a simple, uncomplicated truth? He's a dog. He barks. He chews on bones. He chases cats. He even eats dog food. During the whole conversation, Timber sat and watched me intently, no doubt wondering why I kept repeating his name into the phone. I did not let him talk. Eventually, I did not do a good enough job explaining as we continued to get billed for some other Tim Russell's unpaid hospital visit. Vainly trying to be a good citizen, I called the hospital and explained the problem. I pleaded for them to get the collection agency off my back. The billing clerk was very understanding. She even got a good chuckle from the mistake. She said she would gladly correct it. Collection agencies are the pit bulls of the money world. We continued to get threats and collection notices. I disconnected the phone number listed under the dog's name, but the notices continued. I wrote nasty letters to the collection agency. It did not help. As a last-ditch attempt to stop the collection agency's harassment, I sent them a picture of Tim, a copy of his AKC registration, and a copy of his latest vet bill marked paid. I suggested they call the vet if they had any further questions. Perhaps if they called Dr. Dan, he could clearly explain that my Jack Russell Terrier is a dog and that it was unlikely he had been treated at the local hospital. Finally, we moved. The move was totally unrelated to Tim Russell's $165 hospital bill. However, I did not request Tim Russell's mail be forwarded. Our new phone is not in his name. I have not heard from the collection agency since. My only fear is that they will put out an arrest warrant for Tim. No doubt they will send a canine unit. Now that's a silly story, but I thought it was kind of fun. Okay, guys, we made it to the end. I just wanted to add, thank you so much for your patience. I know the videos have been less frequent, but we're nearing the end. I only have just a couple of more visits to my mom's, and then that should be completely done and turned over by the end of this month. So I should be getting back to a more regular schedule, fingers crossed. My mom is doing well, and I'm happy to announce that. And like I said, we're kind of establishing our rhythm right now and trying to, just get used to the new normal and that kind of stuff. But physically, she's doing really well, and I really appreciate those that have sent thoughts and prayers and comments and hugs and all of the things. I love you all so much. I really, really appreciate your support. I appreciate your continuing to watch the videos and to not unsubscribe. And I realize that I really do have the best community on the YouTubies. And I would love to see you in the Facebook group. And the reason I say that is because it's a way for me to interact more with you. Have you post your colorings, take part in the challenges, learn more about you guys as individuals, and we have a lot of fun and it's very supportive. So check the link in the description box below. But even if you don't, my appreciation cannot be expressed in words. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And until next time, y'all, stay grumpy, my friends. Thank you for watching another video from Jazzydoodledesigns. If you'd like even more Jazzydoodle and a little more snark, please check out the membership below. If you're looking for a community where you can share your work and chat with other fellow colorists in a safe and welcoming environment, hit the subscribe button to Jazzydoodledesigns and then look for Jazzydoodledesigns Coloring Community on Facebook. And there you can join a group of fellow colorists to talk all things coloring and share cute pet pictures. I hope to see you there. And until next time, happy coloring.